Dan Willis here, and we're talking about how to get rid of bad credit and specifically how to pay debt collectors. Now, debt in collections is the most common type of credit report ding, blemish, and negative item. And the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, the FDCPA, federal legislation was passed intended to regulate this industry. In short, this federal legislation says that debt collectors are required to be honest, upfront, and not deceptive, in addition to giving you that modicum of respect and dignity that every human being deserves. And yes, the FDCPA is violated virtually every day and about as often as our drug laws in this country. Now, the very first step for every consumer dealing with any debt collection agency is to first request account validation. This is your right granted under the FDCPA, and essentially what we're saying when we do this, we're saying, hey, debt collector, since we didn't open and do business directly with you, we want you to first prove this is a legitimate account and everything's on the up and up. This is most effective if you make this request in writing and send it using certified mail with return receipt requested. That way you'll have evidence that they received your request. You see, they're required to respond within 30 days of receipt by providing you with the documents, evidence, and paperwork that proves this is your account. If they fail to validate your debt, which is not uncommon, by the way, then in accordance with the FDCPA, that debt is legally forgiven, as in you're no longer legally responsible for payment. Further, they're required to contact all three of the credit bureaus to have them remove those collections from your credit report concerning this account, because that's messing up your credit score. And if you'd like some help, you can get a free credit consultation by calling toll-free 1-877-418-7596. Now, the next step is investigating the Statute of Limitations. This is a state law, so investigate your local listings for exact details. But what this does, and you only need to investigate this if your account is validated, because you're going to receive all that paperwork, that documents, and those evidence, and we want to review that, and we're looking for your last date of account activity. You see, the statute of limitations says exactly how long you're legally responsible for repayment of this debt, and contrary to popular belief, it ain't forever. Generally, this is about 7 years. Again, check your local listings for full details, but generally it's about 7 years from your last date of account activity. Once this time window runs out, then in accordance with state legislation, your legal responsibility for repayment also ended. And beware, this doesn't apply to every type of debt. It applies to the vast majority: medical bills, credit cards, charge-off accounts, utilities, telecommunications, and so many more. The few exceptions that it doesn't apply to are federal income taxes and defaulted federal student loans. Everything else, statute of limitations does apply to for the vast majority of types of consumer debt. Beware, one of the dirtiest, most snarky tactics of the debt collection industry is to re-age consumer accounts. And this is done for obvious reasons, so they can continue to attempt to collect payment. And the takeaway here is it's naive to believe debt collectors are just sitting around waiting to forgive your debt or my debt or any human being's debt. And if you'd like some help, you can get a free credit consultation by calling toll-free 1-877-418-7596. Now, this third step is negotiating a settlement agreement, and you should only enter into negotiations after your account has been validated and you know it's within the statute of limitations. There's two parts to your settlement agreement. First, always negotiate to settle your debt for much, much, much less than the total balance. Generally, you'll be able to negotiate and settle your debt for as little as 15% up to about 45% of the total balance. This is for a number of reasons, but it's standard operating procedure. They'll be happy to accept a settlement for less. And just for illustrative purposes, with $1,000 debt, you may be able to settle for just 25% or $250. Now, the second part of your agreement is mission critical. You need to get this collection agency to agree that in exchange for your payment, they'll stop reporting your account information to all three of the credit bureaus. And it's best to get this agreement in writing. And with that part of your agreement, this last step, we're going to talk about how to get this item off of your credit report, but we need to dispel this idea of a pay for delete. If you're unfamiliar, this is a popular internet myth, and it's about as practical as Jolly St. Nick visiting every house on Christmas Eve. The idea is we demand that debt collector first delete the item from your credit report, and then we'll make payment. As terrific as it sounds, it really sounds great, and you're welcome to try it. You have virtually zero chance of making that happen for so many reasons that we don't have time to get into here. So of course, visit our website and join our congregation, because we've got a free report available there, the 7 proven ways to boost your credit score. But the idea, in short, is the pay for delete model. It's just not going to work. You're going to be spinning your wheels. You're welcome to try. Instead, we encourage you to have a more pragmatic approach to this, and they will agree to stop reporting your account information, because in this last step, we're going to actually file a credit report dispute. We're going to share much more details about this here coming up in this last part of this video series. So of course, subscribe and join our congregation. But in short, the next step is to dispute this collection listing with all three of the credit bureaus to try and get this item off of your credit report. That's your right granted by the Fair Credit Reporting Act. But essentially, when the credit bureaus get your dispute, they first have to find it valid. But once they get it and it's valid, they're required to investigate the item. They'll call it a reinvestigation. Nevertheless, when they investigate the item, they're going to contact that data furnisher or that collection agency. Who is the data furnisher? It's the company that's reporting that account information to the credit bureaus, that negative item on your credit report. They're going to contact them and they're going to ask for verification of your account and all the details. If it's verified, then the information will be updated on your credit report. However, in this case, especially if you followed the steps in this video, as per your settlement agreement, the debt collector is not going to verify your account when the credit bureaus investigate. That's that second part of your settlement agreement that's mission critical. And so when that item is not verified with the collection agency during the credit bureau's investigation, this means in compliance with the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the credit bureaus have to remove that item or remove this collection from your credit report. That's how to clear your credit report. And here's the good news to wrap this up here, because we're going to be talking in detail about the credit bureau dispute process coming up. To wrap this up, in 2016 alone, over 9 million negative items were removed from consumer credit reports. This includes late payments, collections, charge-offs, liens, judgments, repossessions, and so many more. So take action, get a free credit consultation by calling toll-free 1-877-418-7596. Again, that's for a free credit consultation, and the toll-free phone number is 1-877-418-7596. This is Dan Willis. We're going to include a link in the description below over to an article at our website for the full story. We also have a free report available there, the 7 proven ways to boost your credit score. And of course, subscribe and join our congregation, because coming up next, we're going to be talking in detail about the credit report dispute process. So of course, subscribe. Have a fantastic day, and looking forward to talking to you again here soon.